Before I formally start this event, let me introduce myself. My name is Sonia Lozada, and I'm the Director of the Office for Overseas Voting, or OFO, in the Commission on Elections, and I'll be your MC for today's event. So to get right to the program, allow me to introduce our first speaker who will be giving the welcome remarks. So Undersecretary Valerie Joy Brion, or USEC Val, is currently holds the position of Executive Director of the Commission on Filipinos Overseas. So, as USEC Val, like myself, has over a decade of experience in the public service. She started her career in the public sector as a Senate Legislative Staff Officer, and then with the Office of Senator Pimentel, before her stint also in the Department of Finance as initially a director and eventually an assistant secretary. She worked on various initiatives during one of the most challenging times, working on the train law, the Bayanihan Acts, the COVID-19 economic recovery package. So very challenging, and now with the Commission, and I'm glad to also work with her finally now to serve our overseas Filipinos. She is a woman of many talents, currently owning her expertise in digitalization, financial inclusion, and alternative dispute resolution. She is also a Philippine Air Force Reservist, a proud mother to two lovely girls, a dear friend, fellow UP Law batchmate, and a fellow Sambuanga as well. Please welcome USEC Val.
Thank you, Director Sonia, for the kind introduction. So, we are fellow Zamboangueñas and batchmates in UP Law, class 2009. Commission on Elections Chairman, the Honorable George Erwin M. Garcia. Director Sonia Bea Lozada of the Office for Overseas Voting. Commission on Overseas Filipinos Chairman, our dear Secretary Leo M. Arugay, our Head Executive Assistant, Attorney Alma Royandoyan Ali, COMELEC and CFO officials, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. This is indeed an auspicious occasion where both the Commission on Filipinos Overseas and the Commission on Elections once again forge our commitment to reestablish a COMELEC CFO registration center for overseas voters within our CFO workplace. The COMELEC and the CFO serve the same valuable clientele, our Filipinos overseas. COMELEC, through its Office for Overseas Voting, or OFOV, is tasked to ensure honest, orderly, peaceful, and free elections abroad. And CFO, faithful to its mandate of promoting and upholding the interests, rights, and welfare of overseas Filipinos, is tasked to assist the COMELEC in implementing the provisions of the Overseas Voting Act. Today, we converge to seal our joint commitment to effectively operationalize our registration center. This Memorandum of Agreement defines our respective duties, responsibilities, and accountabilities in operating this registration center. Without much ado, on behalf of the Commission on Filipinos Overseas, it is my privilege to welcome you, our esteemed guests, for the signing for our CFO COMELEC Memorandum of Agreement. Kalidad na serbisyo sa mamamayan, abot sa labas ng bayan. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you, USEC Val, for telling us why we're all here today for this momentous MOA signing. But before we proceed to the MOA signing proper, let me introduce our respective heads of agencies, starting with Chairman George Erwin Garcia. So kung kami po ni USEC Val, 20 years po ang kaming combined government service. Si Chairman Garcia naman, over 3 decades, but not necessarily in the public, pero parang ganun na rin. Because he has been rendering public service in other forms, as Dean of the College of Law in the Pamanitasan Lungsod ng Manila, also as provided pro bono legal services no through the UNTV program, yung Puntahang Legal. And then, of course, we all also know him as a very seasoned election law practitioner. So prior to his appointment as chairman of the COMELEC in 2022, he was also served a short stint, but very productive stint, leading with significant contributions, leading to the successful conduct of the 2022 elections. So Chairman Garcia, if it's okay po, may I ask you to give a short welcome message po to our guests.
To the CFO family, magandang umaga, Yusek, Sep, at saka siyempre kaya magandang umaga sa lahat ng mga kawani ng CFO, magandang umaga sa inyong lahat. Siyempre sa amin, sa COMELEC at CFO rin ng COMELEC, kasi hindi pala CFO, OFO, ng Commission, magandang umaga sa inyong lahat. Alam niyo, bibigyan ko lang kayo ng konting realidad when it comes to overseas voting. Alam niyo po ba, noong 2022 elections, we have more or less 1.697 million registered overseas Filipino voters. So, 1.697, kayo man po magtataka, ito first time na maririnig ng komisyon ninyo, 1.697, yun lang po ba yung Pilipino abroad? At yun lang po ba ang pwedeng ma-register as voters abroad? And yet, 1.697 lang po ang registered voters. Bakit kaya ganon? Wala na kayang interest talaga mga Pilipino sa ating bansa. O baka naman nag-apply na lang ng foreign citizenship lahat at ayaw ng bumoto dahil baka ma-compromise pa yung kanilang foreign citizenship o yung mga nag-a-apply pa lang. Kahit nag-dual na, ayaw at hindi pa rin sila bumoboto. So bakit kaya? Yun yung isang napakalaking katanungan. Tinanong sa akin sa Senado, nung tayo humarap sa kanilang budget hearing, sa ating budget hearing. Tapos tinanong din sa akin ni Presidente, sabi ko hindi ko talaga rin alam ang kasagutan siya. Simply because maybe talagang sobrang busy ng mga Pilipino na magparehistro, hindi na sila makapunta sa mga registration centers natin, o hindi sila makapunta sa embahada kung yun man ang kailangan, o sa mga konsulada natin. Samantalang, ang kauna-unahan nating proyekto, yung Register Anywhere, na ginawa na natin dito sa atin sa Pilipinas, na nag-pilot lang tayo, kaunahan po namin ginawa abroad yun. Hindi nga lang po Register Anywhere, pati po Voting Anywhere, binigay na rin natin sa mga Filipinos abroad, sa mga kliyente ng CFO. And yet, alam niyo po ba yung 2022 elections, ang nakaboto lang po ay 39% ng ating 1.6 o around 600,000. So, ang ibig sabihin, lumalabas, 1 milyon ng 1.697 pa ang hindi bumoto. Hindi ba? And yet, the COMELEC spent 417 million pesos just to finance overseas voting. Na ang binigay pa nga lang sa amin ng budget ng Kongreso ay 111 million at ang ginastos ay 417. So, nag-abuno pa ang COMELEC mula sa aming kinapakainga-ingatan na savings. So, yun po yung realidad. At pagkatapos po doon, na-discover pa namin na meron tayong mga 1 milyon o 600 din, parang 1 milyon pala, na hindi nakaboto ng dalawang magkasunod na election. So sila po ay magiging deactivated voters. So ang ibig sabihin, kukunti na nga nakarehistro mo, pagkatapos bababawasan pa. Ngayon po meron kaming 2 taon. Tayo, base sa ating batas, 2 taon na ongoing registration na matatapos ng 2024 ng December. Kaya lang, ang tanong, madadagdagan ba? Ang tanong, yung bang nabawas, madadagdag. Kaya nga napakababa ng projection namin eh. Hindi na kami conservative na lang po. Yung kausap natin ng DFA, sabi namin kahit maka 2 million voters lang tayo. Eh kung may 10 million Pilipino, 2 million voters lang. Parang napakaliit talaga. Kaya lang, unfortunately, hindi nabibigyan ng atensyon ng mga kababayan natin abroad. Siguro nga, kulang talaga sa atensyon. Kaya napakalaking bagay po itong gagawin ng CFO na mabigyan tayo ng pagkakataon na magkaroon ng registration dito po sa inyong mismong tahanan. Napaka-importante po sa atin yan. Sapagkat ang karapatang bumoto yung right of suffrage na tinatawag, na ginagaran siya ng salid ng batas, hindi lang naman para sa mga Pilipino na andito. Hanggat Pilipino ka, o kahit na naging foreigner ka pero Pilipino ka pa rin, pwede ka pa rin magdikta at mag-express ng sentimiento mo sa kung sino ang leader na ihahalal mo sa kahit na pinakamataas at pinakakahuli-hulihang posisyon kung ano yung pwede sa ating overseas voting. So yun po ang ibig nating sabihin. This is really a call for help and assistance coming from other agencies of the government. Timely po ito, itong tulong na binibigay nyo sa Commission on Elections. Sapagkat naniniwala ako when it comes to the conduct of election, it should always be a whole of government approach. Hindi pa pwedeng ang kausap lang namin ay AFP, ang PNP, ang Coast Guard, ang DepEd. Kinakailangan yung ibang ahensya ng pamahalaan ay mahingan din namin ng tulong sapagkat yung inyo pong role na ginagawa ay napaka-importante. Lalong-lalo na pag pinag-usapan ng overseas Filipinos, hindi lang naman workers ito. Sila nga, sabi nga ni Director Bes, sila nga yung may mga permanenteng residente doon o mga permanenteng residente doon sa mga lugar. Hindi yung may nagbabago. So maunawaan natin yung ating mga seafarer na pabago-bago sila na so talagang hindi nakakaboto yung iba dyan. And hopefully po, sa tulong at awa ng Diyos at talaga namang kung pagbibigyan tayo ng Kongreso, magawa natin sa 2025 yung tinatawag natin internet voting. Na sa aking palagay, kahit po ang Commission on Overseas Filipinos ay ma-appreciate na meron tayong internet voting. At least, hindi na pupunta sa embahada. At least, hindi na pupunta sa konsulada. Kami po naka-experience itong nakaraang several elections. Isipin niyo po, yung 39% na binanggit ko, highest yun sa kasaysayan ng overseas voting. Highest pa, 39%. Very proud na kami nun. Despite all the efforts of the DFA and the OFOB namin, and the entire commission, 39% highest. Nagtataka naman po kami, bakit yung lahat ng sulat, yung pouch, na pinapadala namin sa mga botante, dahil siyempre, ang nag-avail sila by mail, ginastusan po namin yun. Pagkatapos, libre pa ang postage, libre na nga yung postage. Ibabalik na lang. Magpaboboto ka na lang, tapos ibabalik mo, halos hindi po bumabalik yung mga pinapadala namin na ginastusan natin for whatever reason. Samantalang ihuhulog mo lang naman yun sa post office ng bansa kung saan ka naadyan o ng lugar. So, the COMELEC will have to find other modes of voting. Kung kaya naisip namin, internet voting. Kasi ang mga Pilipino, addict sa cellphone, sa internet. Sabi nga, number 1 daw tayo. So, yun na lang i-avail natin. Baka sakali po, na pagka na-introduce na natin ang internet voting, baka naman yung aming 2 million na projection, hanggang next year pa naman ang registration, baka mas madoble pa. And that is, of course, with your help. With the help of your office. Matulungan nyo kami. Total, kanina pala pagpasok ko, napakadami ng tao sa baba. Anong malay natin sila para mismo magparehistro overseas. At ang pinaka-importante, hindi lang po yung magparehistro, makaboto. Kasi sayang po yung boto nila. Yung boto nila is enough to alter the destiny of this nation. Yung boto nila is enough to alter the future of this nation. And therefore, nagbabayad din naman sila ng taxes. Bakit nga ba hindi sila pwede mag-participate sa ating electoral exercises? So yun po yung aming nanggagaling sa puso namin na pasalamat sa inyo pong komisyon sa binigay niyong pagkakataon na matulungan kami sa ganitong klaseng adikain alang-alang sa mga kababayan natin abroad. They are also still Filipinos and they deserve to exercise their right of suffrage. Magandang umaga po. Maraming salamat.
Thank you, Chairman Garcia. Our next speaker po is the chairperson of the Commission on Filipinos Overseas, Secretary Romulo who is also a seasoned public servant with over 20 years of experience. Like Yusek Val, he started his career also in the Senate as a legislative liaison as legislative staff officer, followed by 14 years in the Securities and Exchange Commission, so sa financial din po, no? He also worked in the executive department as a presidential legislative liaison officer, under the administration po ng former President Duterte. So, like our chairman, he is also has rendered programs to make public services more inclusive by introducing programs of the CFO to various cities and municipalities, not just here in Metro Manila, but outside, no, provinces in Cagayan, Pangasinan, Batangas, even in Cebu, and all the way to Davao. So, inclusivity po talaga, no? Dapat yung serbisyo po natin hindi lang limited to Metro Manila, but also outside of our government center. And also, Chair, I think it was also mentioned that you've successfully negotiated a MOA with the Bureau of Immigration on a shared government information system to establish migration data, no? Which I hope will also share with us kung paano na po ginawa yan. So without further ado, let us welcome Chairperson Secretary Erwin.
Magandang umaga po sa ating lahat. COMELEC Chairperson George Erwin N. Garcia, Commissioner in Charge Marlon S. Casquejo of the OFO, Director Sonia Bea V. Lozada, OFO, Yusek Valerie Joy Brion, our office, Head Executive Assistant Attorney Alma Ali, colleagues and friends. First of all, we welcome back the COMELEC and the Office for Overseas Voting, both our longtime institutional partners here in our home at CFO. 3 years after the onset of this COVID thing, the pandemic, COMELEC is again all set to resume the operation of physical registration of overseas voters for the upcoming 2025 elections, midterm regular national and local elections. More than our responsibility as mandated in the first Overseas Voting Law, or RA 9189, which was passed in 2003, the CFO is more than happy to host the COMELEC during the overseas voting registration period. We have been one of the advocates in the passage of the law and its 2013 amendatory law, or RA number 10590, and a prominent supporter of COMELEC for its various initiatives regarding overseas voting, including increasing the number of registrants and actual voters. The Overseas Voting Law gave life to Article 4, Section 2 of the Fundamental Law, or the 1987 Constitution, which mandated the Congress to provide a system for absentee voting by qualified Filipinos abroad. As implementers of this policy, we assure our commitment to guarantee that all Filipino nationals residing abroad and who are eligible, including our clients, immigrants, permanent residents, and dual citizens have an equal opportunity to exercise their basic right to vote. CFO in the past supported policy amendments to make the law more inclusive and effective. And this included the removal of affidavit of intent to return for immigrants, including the penalty clause that disqualifies and bars immigrants who voted but did not resume residence, and the adoption by the COMELEC to use the means of voting aside from personal voting and voting by mail. After a decade, we would like to congratulate the COMELEC for finally approving internet voting for registered overseas voters in the 2025 Philippine elections. We hope that this innovation will push through, as this will eventually become a game changer in the history of the Philippine elections. This would also address our perennial problem of low overseas voter turnout. The new MOA, inked between CFO and COMELEC, is a testament to our unwavering support of COMELEC's efforts and renewed campaign to encourage the broadest number of Filipinos to register as overseas voters. This is in recognition of the immense contributions of more than 10 million overseas Filipinos to Philippine development and local economy. The reopening of the CFO Field Registration Center aims to bring the registration process closer and more accessible to our clientele who will be overseas or abroad during the time of the election. Our PDOS or PDOS officers will also include a segment on overseas voting in their orientation seminar and encourage our clients to take advantage of this opportunity and register afterward. This will save them time and money instead of registering, as he had said, the good chairman said, in the Philippine embassies or consulates in their host countries. Finally, allow me to thank the team of COMELEC Chairperson George Erwin Garcia, Commissioner in charge for OFOB Marlon Escasquejo, Director Will Lozada, CFO Yusek Brion, Attorney Alma Riondayan Ali, and the CFO's Policy Planning and Research Division and the Project Management Division for spearheading the groundwork in establishing the Field Registration Center. To our Filipino immigrants and other Filipinos who will be abroad during the midterm elections, the CFO at COMELEC Field Registration Center is now officially open to serve you. Mabuhay tayong lahat at muli po, magandang umaga.
Thank you po, Secretary. So we will now proceed to the MOA signing proper. I request. ceremony. At the ground floor, the Commission on Elections would like to present, sir, a small token of appreciation. Para po for allowing us once again into your office to resume overseas voting registration. May tokens din po ang CFO.
Ito rin po.
Thank you po once again. I think may we proceed to the first floor for the ribbon cutting ceremony.
Ayan lang po muna.
To 7 p.m. po para sa meron na po tayong first registrant. The registration center will be open until September 30, 2024. From today until September 30, 2024, ulitin po natin, Mondays to Thursdays po tayo bukas from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. Maraming salamat.